and welcome to another episode of Not Too Deep. My name is Grace Helbig. I am so thrilled for you to experience this week's episode. We have Nicholas Scheppard and Jenson Titus, aka VeryGayPaint, on this episode of Not Too Deep. And I love these two so much. If you've seen my Instagram and seen photos of my home, they have come to my house and done these beautiful artistic murals in my home, and they are just two of the sweetest and funniest humans that I've ever met. They're comedians. They have started this painting brand company shenanigan in the pandemic. It has since blown up, and we hear all about their story of how they went on their first date a few days before Valentine's Day and had this like strange threat of moving to Los Angeles. You'll hear all about it. I don't need to tell you now. They describe it much better. And we hear about how much VeryGayPaint has grown to the point that they recorded this episode with me at Jason Mraz's avocado ranch because they're doing a mural for him. I can't tell you how much fun I clearly had on this episode. Please enjoy Not Too Deep with VeryGayPaint.
Not too deep. Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
Nick, Jenson, I'm so excited to talk to you. And the irony is not lost that the only episode of this season that I have not been in my space that you have so beautifully artistically enhanced is your episode of this podcast.
During the month of Pride. You know?
I know. Sorry. These are, my microaggressions at you. I'm really sorry, you guys.
Wow.
You know, at this point,
I have, it's been weighing on me heavily, but I hope that you can enjoy that I have come to what looks like the most heterosexual place that I could be to record this podcast with you. A Courtyard Marriott.
Just
sort of made to uphold the straight sort of patriarchy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, nothing about it is warm. It's all very sterile and just like unforgiving, which, feels like home. Okay, let's talk about you guys. First of all, for people, the thing I love the most,
Finally.
For people that have such multifaceted existences, I'm curious how you guys describe what you do.
Yeah.
We've been trying to figure this out. So this is useful every time someone asks us.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think the simplest version is that we are comedians who paint murals.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started,
sounds-
that sounds, I want to hear how it sounds.
Yeah. Why
That
don't you go ahead and tell us
sounds-
how it sounds?
If you guys want some notes, notes. That sounds great.
Oh, all right. Cool. That's sort of the best feedback we could get.
Well, talk to me how you got here, because you guys were, from what I know about you, but what listeners or viewers might not know, you were comedians, and then pandemic happens and we start getting into a paint territory. So talk me through this whole arc.
Yes.
So
Okay.
wild. Okay. So we've had what a year. Okay.
We just posed.
Yeah. So first of all, it was a little like,
and then it was like,
ooh. But all during it, there's
okay.
all right,
Wow.
cool. Then you understand.
Wow. I didn't expect that in the third act. Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
I know, a real shocker.
Anyone who's like not visually watching, God, you missed the story.
Yeah, you're missing out.
They're gonna find out a real relationship with their own imagination in that moment.
Yeah.
Okay,
we were
talk me
comedians.
through this. Talk
So
me through this.
prior to the pandemic, Jenson and I met in Philly about like 3.5 years ago. Moved to Los Angeles together very shortly after dating. It's like 6 months in. We were like, let's do it.
Wow. Okay, wait. Pause for 1 second. How was that conversation? Who proposed the idea of moving to Los Angeles from the beautiful and complex city of Philadelphia?
The complex, multifaceted.
I mean, so on our very first date, I told him, I was like, hey, just so you know, in September, I'm moving to LA.
And I was like, something that's
Wow.
amazing about that is that I am very casual and no strings attached vibes. We are not going to have to worry.
And then 2 months later,
That was
Wait.
absolutely not the case.
Wait, so what a wild thing to unload on someone on the first date that like, hi, I can't fall in love because I'm leaving. And you were like, hold my beer. I'm going to make you fall in love with me.
I was like,
it's sort of like a psychological trap I like to use with first dates. To be like, I'm unavailable in a big way.
So maybe he was not always
chase me.
Yeah.
You make something up.
I was like, fuck, now I have to move to Los Angeles.
He's like, yeah, you run out at a certain point and you're like, yeah, this probably isn't going to last for long. I'm going to space and I can't talk a lot about it.
And you're like, I have a spaceship. It's great. I love that. I love that about you.
Uncle.
That's okay. Wait. So first date, you'd kind of drop this bomb a little bit. And then I'm also curious, who initiated the second date then? Because that's quite a situation to like process.
Yeah. The second date was really casual because I think we had our first date the night before I was like going away for 2 weeks. So we met. We had this
you
first
guys
date.
Love to leave each other.
How are we going to miss each other if we don't?
We're going to want it so badly.
Truly.
I went away to do like a winter camping thing. This was like February. Our first date was like 2 days before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I have in my notes that your anniversary is 2 days before Valentine's Day, which is also, sorry, I have a lot of notes about you, including a photo of your newest promotion for your live show.
God. A peek behind the curtain.
To peek our file.
If you guys need to know, the Corgott Marriott has a beautiful business center downstairs in which I can print out all of my thoughts.
It has always been my dream to be printed in the business center of a Courtyard Marriott.
You know what? It's been years since I typed on a keyboard that has keys that are elevated that push fully down. So it was quite an experience. But yeah, you guys, that's a wild thing, whoever initiated the first date, to offer it 2 days before Valentine's Day.
It was a setup, if you can believe.
Yeah, we had mutual friends. It was a double date.
Okay.
And I think, so I think that's what made it so easy to hang out again, is because we, it was a friend situation. We were sort of circling each other anyway.
Gotcha.
So it's easy to keep hanging out.
Yeah. And so, we went on that first date. I went away for a week. We sort of flirtily texted back and forth. And then I came back and saw you in a show, right?
Did you see that show?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that show.
I feel like I have to tell you about the show for 1 second.
Please, because you've done a lot of theater and improv in Philadelphia. So
we were primarily doing that.
Yeah, so I'm curious about the productions that you've been a part of there.
It was great. I was doing a lot of experimental clowning, theater, sort of like weird stuff. But then my last show I did there was this show that this straight white man wrote, but it was all about race, specifically like a Black experience, which it was like 2017. And it was like, people were like, oh, you have to talk about race. And I think white people were still like, it's our job to write about this, like insane. And so I went in for this role, but then through auditioning, I was like, oh, this person's half Black. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not half Black. And they're like, hey, that's fine. And I was like, they're like, we want to cast you. And I was like, whoa, okay. So like in the show every night, right at the end, I stand up and I go, wait, you guys know I'm Black, right? In the show, and we worked so long trying to figure it out, and then like why it's in there. And then one night during the run, the writer was there and somebody goes, hey, so why did you right at the end make this character, like, why did they say that? Why did they reveal this? What was that about? And he was like, I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting. Literally for no...
My God! All the bones in my body are curling up on themselves. That is
horrifying.
Really got painted into a corner on this one. And to think that I went and saw that and I was like,
that was the first thing that you saw of him in the art world at all?
Yeah. Me and my friend that I came to the show with, both Jenson stands up and is like, you guys know I'm half Black, right? And we were both like, what? Oh.
I did have one time I did it and then someone went, Jesus Christ. I heard them and I was like, yeah.
It was certainly something.
Okay. So sorry.
That's, if you, this is just really confirming the solid foundation of your guys' relationship to me, that if that's your, in the beginning phases of getting to know each other, you experience your, foreseeable partner in such a compromising situation like that.
Right, to be put through the fire.
I thought this is a vibe I want to get mixed up in. Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to tango with this.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
But you both did comedy and clowning in Philadelphia. Is that right? Or did only Jenson, you just did clowning, or you both did clowning?
Yeah, I think I was maybe the only one clowning in Philly.
Gotcha.
I was doing improv. I was doing a ton of like regional theater stuff. And then when we got to LA was when we were really like, oh, let's dig our toes in and play the comedy game, baby.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Yeah. How was the transition from Philadelphia to Los Angeles?
It's a difficult move. I mean, moving into LA, it's
weird.
If you don't have like a foundation already set up for you, it's challenging.
No one tells you it's going to be expensive. No one talks about that, actually.
No one talks about how expensive it is here.
That is true. I know. Everyone thinks that New York is expensive, but Los Angeles is insane.
You lived in New York for a while, right?
Yeah, I lived in New York for a little bit and then came out to Los Angeles like 9 years ago.
And it's more expensive in LA, you feel?
Well, Los Angeles just feels like New York, you can kind of like exist in a closet with like small things and like really forces you to downsize everything. Los Angeles like encourages you to like spread out, like get a car, get like a house, get all these like accoutrements, like external of your own like person. So like shit adds up after a bit. But New York, you can kind of like get away with like, living sneakily and very small, but at the same time, New York is insanely expensive. Enough about me, more about you guys. Let's talk about, so you come out to Los Angeles, you're doing comedy, then pandemic hits. Talk to me about the evolution of VeryGayPaint.
Yeah,
for sure. So we went straight to Las Vegas because that's where both of our families live. And so
I thought you were joking for a second, and then I realized that that's true.
We did not go to sort of live it up in Vegas. We weren't like,
I wish I had the wherewithal to lead you a little bit with a bit.
They were like, and now is the time to be in the most concentrated and sweaty environment that I can put myself in.
I want to be touching handles that strangers are touching.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
No, we went to hunker down with our families, who coincidentally both happen to live in Vegas.
Yes, and there are suburbs, believe it or not, in Las Vegas. So
I've heard of these things.
Be away from the strip. So we were there, and then we spent like 2 months there, and just like tried to see, like we were like trying to make comedy, trying to write, and nothing. It didn't feel good. So we went back to LA and just trying to live our life there and just sort of, the thing everybody was doing was like, figure out what we're doing.
Also, even, I mean, not even in a large sense, like, what are we doing? But also, how do we spend our day? We've got full days, nothing to do.
So we're like making up that we're like, our apartment was, so talk about, New York living. We were living in this little tiny studio in Silver Lake.
In a basement.
Almost no light. So we were just like, let's work corner by corner, like every square inch of this place. Let's try to make it cute.
Aww.
And so we were doing that. We were not getting new furniture. We were like building little pockets of like, because I'm like, I needed one space to be away from you. Like we were trying to figure out like how to, have alone time.
You guys are really, I don't want to say it's like self-sabotaging, but the challenges that you've imposed on your relationship for each other are a true testament to your ability to overcome them.
I struggle and emerge.
What is life without a challenge?
It's beautiful. Okay, so now you're like working on this place that you guys are living in, doing it for yourselves. Were you putting this online at the time, or were you kind of doing it internally?
We were just doing it for ourselves. I've always liked to nest. And to Jenson's earlier point, it's so funny that VeryGayPaint, this thing that has like ultra bonded us to each other. And we're like always together, came out of us being like, how do we make space in our apartment to be separate?
That's beautiful.
It's another highly visual element. If you're not watching the video of this podcast,
you're only getting half the battle.
Oh my God. Yeah, so the buying furniture off Facebook Marketplace to make those little corners turned into me being like, what if we paint something on the wall? I saw like something on Pinterest and painted it myself. And it was like
cute.
Yeah, it looked cute. It was not impossibly hard. And then we caught the bug. Jenson jumped in. This kid's fine motor skills. When I tell you, he can just pop, 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 pop. Like large scale,
I'm a great painter.
The composition, I can like decide what's going to happen. But if it was up to me to do these curves, we'd be in trouble.
Someone had 8 cups of coffee and trying to like
yeah, mine looks like I'm giving a lie detector test to the wall the whole time.
And the lie is, are you confident? Yes.
It's the scene from the disaster movie about the big one where I'm trying to draw a circle and it starts, but I can't. I finish. I'm a character in a disaster movie. They show that the a 9.3 earthquake has started, and I don't stop painting a circle as my house collapses.
Wow. That is a beautiful metaphor for so many of the things that you guys have gone through. Wait, so you start doing this for yourselves. How does this start going public then? How do you start working with other people?
He posts on his personal Instagram.
I had, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I posted the ones we had done in our apartment on our Instagram, and all of our friends were like, that looks awesome. Like, show us how to do that. Come do that for us. And then a friend of mine from Philly was like, hey, I have this friend in LA. I'm going to give her your Instagram because she's looking for this sort of exact thing. Cool. And I'm just going to hook you guys up. And so we did our first mural for this really cool girl. Who paid us like $90.
Nice.
And we did a little squiggle on her wall. And then that was the day where we were like, oh, let's just make a little side account for this. Because my last 5 posts on my personal Instagram have been paint. And that accounts for selfies.
Yeah, you're going to fuck up your whole aesthetic over there.
And God forbid.
Keep it clean.
Yeah.
So then it just becomes like a word of mouth kind of situation.
Yeah. And then it just it just started really catching. It just got so far ahead of us. And it was so funny. Like in the first day, I think we got 250 followers, and we were joking. We're like, oh my God, wouldn't it be so crazy if this passed our own personal following?
We're like, can you imagine the sort of personal crises we would have? And God, that would never happen. And then cut to 2 weeks later.
Literally, and I was like, oh my God, it had taken off. I don't even know. I don't know how it worked. It really just blossomed. I guess I don't. It was the right time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you caught people, when they are forced to evaluate their physical, living spaces, and also evaluate, their ability to fix their spaces on their own, which is mostly can't for myself, can't do it by myself. So the outsourcing of other people who are much more proficient at that, it's all perfect timing. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, I have to talk to you about tips and tricks for working together, loving together, living together, all of that. So we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Hello, listeners. Grace Helbig here, wanting to say 2 things. A big thank you for listening to the podcast. If you're a regular listener, if this is your first time listening, welcome and thank you. And second thing, if you are enjoying yourself here in this not too deep world we've built and you'd like to leave us a review, that would be so wonderful. If you can go to the iTunes store, the App Store, and leave us a lovely little review, comment. How are you feeling? Good, bad, otherwise? Maybe just good or otherwise would be appreciated. Other than that, enjoy the podcast. Okay, you guys have blown up now, and it continues to blow up. And now you're back doing some comedy shows in Los Angeles. Heads up to anyone who's out in Los Angeles looking for some funny nights. What's the work life process now? Because the VeryGayPaint seemed to start as kind of like this little side project, and now it's the main thing. How's it going to proceed?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge part of what we're talking about every day. It feels like a big turning point for us of we want to go back to the thing that we really love doing, which is performing and producing shows and doing comedy. So I think our first show is this Saturday that we're producing as VeryGayPaint, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, because you're basically, you're debuting yourselves as a new kind of brand situation. That's fun. Like, this is your like debutante ball.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. And we,
really?
we will be, we like lost some followers for the first time when we posted about it. Because people, they come for paint. So I get it. It was just very like...
People unfollowed because you promoted your comedy show one time?
It hurt.
People were like, a show poster? Nice try. Like,
not what I signed up for. Absolutely not.
Truly. Which I get because those can be triggering for sure. So we're like, we're trying to literally get on television.
Well, so I feel like you guys offer this niche into DIY that is funny. Like, it blows my mind so much why, HGTV and all of this DIY stuff like lacks humor in it, or the humor that's there is very, it's not funny. It's not funny.
I think it's like Chip Gaines just sort of leading the comedy front. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
like
mostly
climbing trees.
Yeah, it's mostly him acting like an 11-year-old boy around his wife who just like looks at the producer off camera and goes, and it's like, why?
I put some shiplap in this.
I think if we're not them this Halloween, it's a huge missed opportunity.
Truly.
Can you imagine?
I mean, okay, so you're pitching, are we pitching like scripted stuff? Are we pitching like long form stuff? Is it kind of a variety?
The concept now is that we're sort of imbuing sketch and comedy and little, these instructional bits where we end up sort of fucking the whole thing up.
Great.
Like into a show where a mural is in real life created for a real person.
So a hybrid, like unscripted, a little scripted. Yeah. So that's the first, obviously we've been doing this. We haven't even been doing this a year. So on July 15th will be our year.
July 15th is the anniversary?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
It's coming.
It's wild to me that you are just coming up on your 1-year anniversary for all of this. The one major, kind of glaring question is like, how do you guys, living together, loving together, working together, like, do you guys set boundaries for each other? Is there... or is this an ongoing evolution of the way, because I'm sure you guys, didn't expect it to blow up like this. And so now you're really in it with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And you can also pass on this question if it's too intense.
Let's get into it.
It's really incredible.
Let's get deep into it.
It's incredible the amount of boundaries we don't have.
But that's great, because when you don't need them, you don't need them. That's just a testament to you guys know already inherently how to operate with each other.
Yeah. I mean, when we're all so young, like we're discovering what those boundaries are and will be as we approach them. But, you know, this happened during a time, and VeryGayPaint was created out of a time where physically, literally, we could not be separate from each other.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was not an option. And now I think as the world opens up and we, maybe expand what the brand is and what our personal journeys and interests are, maybe there will be opportunities where we're like, oh yeah, let's figure out, how do we delineate time to spend apart when we're not working on the company? It's
a lot of planning because we're usually booked about 2 months out, right? So
yeah. I mean, I think the thing that people don't realize about you guys is because you are front facing, so funny and so clowny, you are incredibly professional and incredibly organized and prepared. And my experience with you was just overwhelming respect for that ability that I do not have. But I watch you guys work and I'm just like, they just got their shit together. This is incredible.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
No, it's really true. I don't think people realize how much planning and precision goes behind the scenes of the stuff that you guys work on that just looks fabulous as an end result.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of no shame to them, but we have a lot of celebrities DM us and they're like, I want you to paint this wall. And then I go, oh great, yeah, we just need this, and this. And then I think they just think that we show up.
Like a little magic fairy that comes.
it has like, which is cool. I guess that's the vibe. But I'm like, we do need some measurements. We need some,
We got to get it down to brass tacks.
I was going to ask, you don't have to name names or anything specific. What's been the strangest request that you've gotten, if there has been one that stands out to you?
Strangest. I mean, we did one that was somebody wanted a big whale on the entryway wall.
Which couldn't have been farther than what we were. I mean, we hadn't at that point done anything that was even recognizable as like a thing, right? So much of our stuff is like lines or it's a shape.
Yeah.
When we painted the Santa Monica Pier recently and people were like, what is it? And we were like, I don't know. And so that was the first one where it was like, it's going to be a whale.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it wound up being really cool. Like we used a more like interpretive style for the whale. Like it was like wavy water that also made the shape of a whale.
Oh, cool.
So that was like the coolest. I don't know if we've ever had anything else. Like
Do you have a bucket list of celebrities or singular celebrity that you would love
Megan
to paint?
Thee Stallion.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
I don't even know what I would do.
Yeah, it's tough. I gotta say, Grace, it was huge to paint for you. It was so exciting for us.
He's been waiting to reveal this to you. Okay, here we go.
No, just like when you reached out to us, I was like, because I like my whole 20s, I was like watching your stuff every day, like truly every single day.
He bought your movie that you did.
Oh yeah, I paid for Dirty 30. It was amazing.
Thank you. You can torrent it or whatever, but thank you. That's really sweet. No, it was an honor to have you guys in my home making it beautiful, because I don't ever reach out online to people about anything. I am so anxious and nervous, and I just think I come across like such a fucking privileged dork, and I don't know how to do that stuff. Mamrie does it so beautifully and effortlessly, and I can't figure it out. So the fact that you guys even responded was like, I crawled into a hole after I hit send of just like, I can't believe I asked that something.
It's so funny.
We had been like,
let's talk. Let's have this conversation.
Yeah. I would have literally thrown my phone off the hill, like into traffic, and just been like, it's over. This is the time that I should go into the woods and learn how to knit and make like tree shoes. I don't know.
Tree shoes.
It's so funny that you felt that way, because responding to when you were like, hey, I just wanted to reach out about maybe doing this project. I think I, in my notes app, spent like 30 minutes doing a reply that ended up being like, okay.
No, you guys,
like, yeah, let's do it.
You guys were so wonderful. And you also came into our lives at the most chaotic moment. And the fact that you guys took it on the chin was beautiful. Let's talk, to pivot a little bit, Very Gay Candle. What's going on here? What is this? What's going on?
This was like an early thing.
Other comedians, like right at the beginning. They're just super cool girls.
Start of the pandemic, I was in a sketch class with these two, this like comedian duo.
They're also like so hot.
They're stunningly beautiful. It's very painful.
Businesswomen.
Yeah. Who are they?
Their names are Cami and Tess. I think that's their joint Instagram that they, I think, are still doing comedy together on, but they transitioned during the pandemic a little more intentionally into being like, oh, we want to have a small business. We love candles. We love the like, biz. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they reached out to us like when we, maybe a week into really starting VeryGayPaint, and we're like, hey, we're starting a candle company. You guys are so cool. We love what you do. Let's
do Very Gay Candle.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we just like, built it with them.
Yeah. We designed the label and chose the scents, and then they make everything else happen. And
wow.
It rocks.
So what's the scent profile?
It's like amber moss and teakwood, I think. Yeah. It's very like, it's a little floral, but it's like earthy and like
musky,
really
and
nice,
warm.
Yeah, I love it. I love that for you guys. That sounds beautiful.
Saying. I love merch. I love it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, in you guys building this brand, what are the branches off of the brand? What are the offshoots? How can we monetize this?
Come on, dollars and cents,
Make daddy some money.
We're suddenly in suits, like on Wall Street.
Oh my God, on Shark Tank. That's so funny.
Oh God, I would love for you guys to go pitch yourselves on Shark Tank. I don't even know what you would pitch, but I would just love it.
I think the idea would be that it's like there's not a product. We're going on Shark Tank.
Like we have one of those like terribly like rehearsed pitches where they're like visibly like shaking.
Hi, sharks.
We have to turn around in the middle of it and like face up stage and sort of, hey, we're gonna start again.
Get it.
Hey,
I'm Nick Scheppard. Very gay in the paint.
God,
I would watch an hour to 2 hours of that. That's it.
Turn your brain into mush. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see what continues to happen, but I need to now get into the 2 questions that I ask every single guest that is on the Not Too Deep podcast.
Of course.
For both of you. The first question is, who, alive or dead, would you most like to throw cold spaghetti at?
Of course.
I want to throw it at Ellen DeGeneres.
Literally, one of the notes I had here to ask you is, what the fuck is Ellen doing right now? Do we care?
Literally, no, because all I want to do is I want to drive by in my brand new car we just bought and throw cold spaghetti at her while she's walking her dog.
I want it to be I want Ellen to sort of...
I'm going to be murdered.
Oh yeah, a sniper would take you out in a second.
She's going to send someone to my house.
Over. They're here already.
Yeah, Portia's outside right now. She's getting ready.
Oh my God. Imagine her in camouflage. Beautiful.
Oh,
it's stunning. Not, and she would not blend in.
No. Trying to camouflage herself, but literally being like a super
the most
actress.
beautiful goddess.
Jesus.
What about you? I would like to throw cold spaghetti. Okay, so something we revealed to you on the break that I think that everyone should know, right, is that we're currently at Jason Mraz's avocado farm.
None of that is a Mad Lib sentence. That is just true facts in their world and what they are doing right now.
It's just the fever dream we're living in. And
I love it.
Insane.
One of his cats last night, while we were asleep, brought a rat that it had killed to the door outside of our room.
Okay.
And I did not realize, and I did start my day by stepping into a rat that a cat had brought me.
That was like strewn apart.
Oh no!
Entrails, just entrail vibes.
No! Wow!
Good morning. And so I would like to, this cat sort of put me in an uncomfortable, reasonably disgusting situation, but with an offering of food for me. Yeah. And I would just like to return the favor by throwing cold spaghetti at Jesus the cat, who tried to bring me a rat this morning.
His name is Jesus. And Jesus loves you. He's the sweetest cat.
In Jesus' name, we pray.
Amen.
That is... the layered metaphors there are too much to handle. I'll let you guys process that on your own time.
It's going to take a while to sort of write.
A lasagna of metaphor.
But also just watching an adult man throw spaghetti at a cat is a beautiful visual.
And the fact that it's cold really does heighten it.
And the point is that the cat would have the same sensation I did, right? Like I don't want this. And then being like, oh, it's food, know? And that's what the cat was doing to me. It's just a return of the favor.
I just don't know what I would do if I saw an adult doing that to a cat. I don't know what you do.
There's not much you can do.
Truly, you just have to let nature take care of itself, I guess.
Nature is healing.
Okay. The other question I ask every single guest that is on the podcast with me is to tell me your worst pants shitting story or like a bathroom emergency situation. But you can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases to describe the experience. And so, for example, mine is college, jogging, front lawn.
Oh my God. Mine is Magic Mountain.
Oh, whoa.
Funnel cake. Wendy's.
And Wendy's. Oh no.
Yeah. You let that stew.
To have multiple settings.
You just I also feel like you just listed brands.
Yeah. And the new frosty, the cold brew.
We have partnerships that we need to sort of fulfill.
It sounded like you described like a 9-year-old's dream birthday. Just Magic Mountain, funnel cake, Wendy's.
Upended by diarrhea.
Oh,
okay.
boy, the right context.
Okay. 6-hour flight.
Oh.
Which is a word. One word.
Yeah.
Steps from the door.
You're writing a haiku.
It's so far. It's really beautiful.
And I suppose just ooh would be my last. Ooh. And that can be transcribed sort of however feels appropriate.
Truly paints a picture. Wow. Thank you for sharing both of those with me. I truly appreciate it.
Of course.
Now we're going to move on to a section called Deep or Hot, where you can choose if you would like to answer a deep question that we have prepared for you, or you can give us a hot take on something that we have prepared for you. Or you can do both. It's up to you guys.
Let's do both.
I'm excited about both.
Okay. You deep question first, coming in hot with the deep. Do you fear that you'll be pigeonholed by your sexuality and that you yourself are the only one to do it?
That's a great question. No, I don't feel this way because I do feel like VeryGayPaint makes fun of sexuality so intensely that we're actually going to like transcend,
come out the other side,
the idea of like what gayness has become culturally.
Yeah, I think the brand sort of exists as an idea that it is stupid that there would be anything qualitative about being gay, right?
Yeah.
Like we have so many people be like, "What's gay about the paint?" We're like, "Yes,
exactly that." Yeah. It's also the DIY like industry, and this is just my own kind of, not super aware opinion of that world. It just seems like a very heterosexual industry, at least very like hetero presenting in a way. And so it's nice for you guys to just like call it out obnoxiously, but like with comedic purpose. There were levels of like thought behind it. It's not just like a throwaway thing for you guys.
Yeah, it's been a process of whittling down the POV of like the brand and like the humor and like we've been really talking about that a lot and like it's an important. I think the most important thing to me at least is that aspect of what we're doing.
Yeah, is that there's some sort of incisive kind of pushback against the idea that it ever would be a sort of pigeonhole situation for us to not be able to do things outside of being gay. It also is like conversely so empowering to like, I spent so much of my childhood being like, oh yeah, being gay will sort of trap me in a narrative that other people get to choose for me. Like that is going to put me into, just a format, an established format. I do not have the freedom of choice if I come out as gay because everyone will be assigning things to me. And then to sort of like turn that on its head as an adult and be like, play the little devil of like, I'm gay and that actually means this thing that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like really juicy.
Well, it's just like you have full control of your brand and yourselves from every angle, and you are the puppets and the puppeteer, like a puppet masters at the same time. And it's just really beautiful to know that like there is so much thought behind what you're doing. You're not just kind of like flying by the seat of your pants, just throwing like gay shit out there for the sake of it. Like you are really like, you have something to say and you have art to make. It's really beautiful.
Yes, you have to be responsible with your gay shit.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay. Here's the hot take, which you've kind of already touched on this a little bit. Why do you think the DIY industry is so saccharine sweet?
Clicks.
What did you say? Clicks?
Clicks.
Okay.
It's all about clicks.
I feel like it came at, because I feel like it always comes from sadness, I think. Like for some reason, like people turn DIY when it's like there's a divorce or there's like a death or there's like a, you know what I mean? Like it always seems like
the projection of bettering something.
Yeah. Or like taking the ownership. Like you're at home, you like don't want to leave, but you're like, I need something. So maybe it comes from such a place of like self-care, I think. And I'm wondering if that's why it's so sweet.
Yeah.
And earnest.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think it also grows out of like this, like DIY, I feel like is this sort of evolution of the history where we're like, the girls are taking home economics class and the men are taking woodshop.
Yeah.
And so it feels like it was like very, divisive in that way, the origins of DIY. And now as things are starting to blend, it's at least becoming clear to us that how stupid it's necessary that we like approach it with an irreverence because
you're dismantling all of it.
Well, you know what? It's also because it's like resist because so many things are just naturally DIY, and then it's like now that I'm thinking about like it's actually the culture of recording these DIY videos of like that's where I think it really snuck in because I think people were at home baking like. Not everybody you meet that does something themselves like that at home is going to be like nice, right? But like the like culture of like making a video around it has always been like, hey, we're going to teach you actually how to be knitting today. And it's like very like, but then it's so funny because like you're the care of like, you're here to learn. We're here to take care of you. And then it's so funny for us. We like keep
you guys just fuck with that entirely.
Like, how to paint the perfect circle. And it's like, we're never gonna show you.
I know, you guys posted some video about jazz just moves through your bones and it's just you with a brush just doing absolute nonsense. And I love it. See, that's what I want to see on HGTV. That's more real to me than, the Chip and Joanna games. I love that. Okay, we're going to take one last break. When we get back, we're going to give a listener viewer some advice that hopefully improves their life. So we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not Too Deep with Grace Helbig.
We're back. We're going to give some people some advice. Which I think that, okay, I'm going to try and find one that I think is really appropriate for you guys. Okay. I think you might have some interesting thoughts about this. Someone said, they're asking, this is a work-related question. How do I creatively quit my minimum wage job? My boss likes theater, so song and dance is an option.
Oh, I see. Okay. At first, I was like, I don't know what you want to do with your life, but how to just quit.
They just want to. They want to quit with, with style, with panache, with some sort of something out of the ordinary.
Vibes.
Yes.
Let's start pitching. Let's start ideating here
before leaving the job.
As people that have come from theater backgrounds, they're saying that their boss enjoys theater, so the option to do something more theatrical is in the wheelhouse.
Okay, I'm getting like one of those like, oh, quick, come here.
Yes.
Something has happened.
You make your boss full of fear and anxiety about something that would be much worse than you quitting, right? Because the whole rest of the event, they're going to be kind of happy that it's not that. And you can just sort of both enjoy each other in this parting moment. So you say, come quickly, Laomi or whoever the person is that you work with at that time, she's hurt. Laomi's hurt so bad. She's split her head open and she's in the back. Come see her split open head.
That's really intense. Okay,
yeah. And we get him worked up. Yeah.
Wow.
And then he comes back and Laomi is there, prosthetics of a head that's been split open.
Okay. So you guys,
oh, no. Yeah. You wait till he gets close enough that he would notice the prosthetics are there and Laomi has prepared a song.
You're going to need for your minimum wage job, you're going to need probably like a $2,000 budget for this.
Just for hair and makeup.
Yeah.
You can kickstart it.
Yeah.
And the money should also just go to the quitting and not to any of your future endeavors. Just to clarify.
No, not if you put it in your savings account, we're coming for you.
Yeah. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, so
she starts singing Alanis Morissette's "You Ought to Know" really softly. I want you to know, and then you come in from behind your boss. He came in first, right? He's the person responsible for taking care of Leomi, who's hit her head. You're over his shoulder, and typically Alanis, I'm happy for you, but what you say is, I am quitting, right? And so we start to realize what the situation is. More coworkers.
Yeah.
So flash mob. It turns into a bit of a flash mob. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with a flash mob.
Wow, I'm like really catching up to all of this. So I feel like I can't even contribute. So
no, please. There's
more. Yeah, continue.
Okay, so I want you to know I'm quitting that job. A new coworker sort of walks in. They were carrying a bucket of ice, and they go, "Ice bucket challenge" onto Leomi to benefit ALS, and then. Where they're standing, there's dance routine. I don't know if anyone here, the Fit Body by Ashley, sort of a YouTube Zumba teacher. She comes in and has taught everyone a dance to You Ought to Know.
Wow.
Flash mob to You Ought to Know with Leomi, the ice bucket coworker. Your boss starts to realize that at your boss's Zumba class they've been going to, it's that choreography. Oh my God. Your boss knows the choreography. The four of you do it to completion. Okay.
And then it's done. And then you say, do you mind writing me a referral?
I think that's the only way you can do this ask. If you're going to quit a minimum wage job, you really need to let them know what's going on. And you also want to, at the same time, raise some money for ALS and make some donations. So those are, the best way to quit a job is by raising money for other internet showy fundraisers
from a long time ago.
But, the one that isn't asking for any more money, but you finally caught on.
ALS sort of went away,
and the ice bucket challenge was, largely not raising money. Many of the people who did it. We're not helping to raise money.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh my God, that was like one of the first big.
If you spend a $2,000 hair and makeup budget donating to ALS research, I swear to God, that makes you a bad person.
Oh my God, I know that wasn't helpful at all. So, but I hope it was in some way.
I think truly it has to have stirred some sort of ideas for this listener. And I can't thank you enough for creating a visual that I have actively participated in my head with for the last 5 minutes that I have just enjoyed start to finish. So thank you so much.
Thank you for leading that.
It's part of a brand partnership we're doing with Alanis Morissette. So I did have to say that.
I mean, look, nothing is impossible. You guys are at fucking Jason Mraz's house right now.
LOL, I know.
So your life is beyond comprehension. You guys can't make jokes because they could be truths.
I know. Yeah. You're simply manifesting at that point.
We have to conclude soon. This has been so fun, you guys. Thank you again for taking time away from your busy work schedule to quack with me. But before we leave, we like to give our guests a little token of our appreciation. So we make some personalized horoscopes from us to you that I think Melissa is going to copy and paste into the chat. And you guys can read your horoscope out loud for all of us.
Okay, what do we do? Okay.
In unison.
Dear Leos,
lions of the stars, it's time to start apologizing for things you might have said or done in the heat of the moment during retrograde. The Easter Bunny isn't mad at you. You
isn't mad probably that you outed them publicly like that, but they're willing to forgive and move on.
Yeah.
Straight from the universe.
Straight from the universe to universe.
I appreciate the offer to apologize, and I respectfully decline.
Yeah, the Easter Bunny thing wasn't an isolated incident. We have a long history with that rabbit.
And we're having people and we're outing ideas and concepts left and right. We don't out people.
You're artists. You can't be beholden to keeping thoughts, opinions, and ideas in your head. They need to be expressed.
We suddenly switch into, we're like, PC culture is ruining America.
Cancel culture.
When I'm elected governor, I will cancel culture.
Slowly, okay.
Fade to black, and we do this for 48 hours until we pass away.
Okay, guys, where can people find you, find VeryGayPaint, come out and maybe see the comedy show if they want to? Where can people hear and see all of it?
We're at VeryGayPaint on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, but we're not really on there. VeryGayPaint.com or VeryGayPaint on YouTube. But on our Instagram and whatnot, we'll post about our shows.
Yes. So our first upcoming show is this coming Saturday.
Chica's Tacos City.
But we will have plenty more, probably at multiple different locations. We'll be getting frisky with a mic.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. This was so lovely. I appreciate you.
Fun. We appreciate you.
Guys, go check out VeryGayPaint. And if you're in Los Angeles, go see them on stage. They are goofs beyond belief, and I couldn't love them anymore. Thank you guys for listening and watching, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep. Not Too Deep with Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated, producer Melissa D. Montz, edited by Shireen Lani Yunus, post-production sound by Chris Henry, and an extra special thanks to Flula for the theme music.